but the president jets out to reflect about his policies from a foreign country. The president wants to reflect about his policies and has yet to make a statement on the 30-day rant challenge of Nigerian youths calling for help, where the cost of living is killing the living. Tomorrow it is Uromi killing. Next tomorrow it is Benue, it is Ondo, it is Plateau. What exactly is going on in Nigeria is an outright lack of accountability. And that is why for this 30 days ranting challenge, it will not just end with ranting, it must be backed up with action.
Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you guys are watching me from. And welcome back to Rukama Reality. I want to discuss about the hardship of the country. The hardship, the insecurity, and everything where they go for this country. The country called Nigeria. Now, bros, we've now checked this thing out. We have leaders. But our leader no send our papa. I don't want to go back to the history of the leader, the way the leader get, where they put themselves into the power. Because me and you know how the leader take enter power. They let put that one aside. A leader that say, "Oh, it's my turn, and I want to take it. I want to take control. I want to take fully, as in I want they in charge. That will make you. I will make things better for you guys." Now it's like for my eye, is that one the worst leader? With me, I don't know since my papa pumped on me. No, you are a leader. People are buying, as in they unlife people. Almost every minute. Nobody is saying anything. They unlike some Nigerian army. Nobody is saying anything about it. X-Men, they unlike people. They destroy farmers. They destroy their crops. Nobody is saying anything. Now, for some days ago, things happened for Uromi, where they buy for, oh, it's still not tonight. They shake Nigeria because these people decided to fight out. But that's not where I want from. That's not where I'm going to. The main point is saying Nigeria no do all right. People are protesting. But the so-called leaders, no one available. They're not on seat to know maybe will they even cry or not. But man not talk much. Man pray with him, Peter need to talk about this matter because Peter talk with him sweet my belly. Because why your children will be at home, as in your children day out, they cry for hunger. You travel go France. So you want the examine. You want to view Nigeria's situation from France. You did your country, you don't see what they go to now for France, you want some. But let me not talk much. Let me play the video of Peter. And because Peter talk with his with me, because Peter gets some interview with Arise TV. And with the man talk, he sweet my baby. But when I listen to what Peter talk.
Thank you very much. Look, without mincing words, let us be very honest. Nigeria is in dire straits. Nigerians are in a battle for survival. And if nothing else tells you the clear picture of what Nigerians are going through, few days ago, the presidential spokesperson, aide, Mr. Bayo Ononuga, put out a statement that the president is on his way to France for a 2-week working visit. And while in France, what the president is trying to do is to get an appraisal of his government and to retreat and reflect on his own reforms. Meaning, after spending money in 2024-2025 budget to renovate the presidential villa, the vice president's home, the president's house in Dodan Barracks in Lagos, and the vice president's home in Dodan Barracks, buying private jets, and in a country of 774 local governments, the commander-in-chief does not have a proper location in Nigeria to reflect, but the president jets out to reflect about his policies from a foreign country. The president wants to reflect about his policies and has yet to make a statement on the 30-day rant challenge of Nigerian youths calling for help, where the cost of living is killing the living. Tomorrow it is Uromi killing. Next tomorrow it is Benue, it is Ondo, it is Plateau. What exactly is going on in Nigeria is an outright lack of accountability. And that is why for this 30 days ranting challenge, it will not just end with ranting, it must be backed up with action. Nigerian youths need a system, an electoral system that can guarantee free, fair, credible, and peaceful elections so that you can be able to elect proper leaders. And that is what my own call to the president is. Thank God his aide said he is a Democrat. The hallmark of every democracy are free and fair elections. The president has to commit to that process in 2027, where people will not be beaten out of polling units like it happened in Lagos in 2023, so that Nigerian youths can begin to live and not just exist or struggle to survive. What exactly is there as an incentive to be Nigerian today? The institutions are all almost stacked against you. Law enforcement is almost against you. The judicial system is not where you can go. The market is not what you can even afford. There is just sheer hopelessness across board, and that is what you are seeing us do in these 30 days. And if anybody as a leader is listening, then they should be taking practical steps to resolving these issues, most importantly guaranteeing a free, fair and peaceful process in 2027. One of the most difficult jobs in Nigeria or in the world today is speaking for or trying to defend the APC federal government. It is a very, very difficult thing to do, because you know why? There is nothing there to defend. So you remember that the APC campaigned for 16 years of PDP misrule. In fact, this president was part of a protest called Occupy Nigeria when the then President Jonathan was trying to remove fuel subsidy, which he eventually have removed today, and yet the devil is in the detail in terms of implementation of sanitizing the oil sector and NNPC. So, and then by 2027, President Tinubu's administration will be 12 years, or the APC will be 12 years put together. Imagine living in a government of renewed hope and experiencing the kind of unfortunate hopelessness that Nigeria is experiencing. So it is difficult for you to explain what the federal government, the APC-led government, is doing. But I can give you some. A government that knows that more than 100 million persons were living in multi-dimensional poverty by the end of Buhari's administration came into power, and the first priorities were deciding to renovate a vice presidential home for 20-something billion, purchase of new private presidential jets, a presidential yacht, renovating the villa, money for purchase of SUVs for the office of the first lady, which is not even a legally recognized, constitutionally recognized office. So when you see the frivolities and wastages in government, and then that same government in turn begins to ask the people to make sacrifices, so it is we who will think of what to do for our country, while the leaders continue to live in luxury and affluence using taxpayer money. Look at the National Assembly. Immediately they shared monies for themselves and purchased bulletproof SUVs, one for more than 160 million. Yet the minimum wage of that country is 70,000 naira, and that is a country where leaders are still demanding sacrifice from the people. So at what point does this sacrifice end? At what point does President Tinubu, his cabinet, the senators and his government begin to make sacrifices? The president is a former governor. He is on life pension from Lagos State. The vice president is a former governor. The senate president is a former governor. So with all the resources that are shared, 60% of Nigeria's corruption is administrative. Inflation of government contracts, budget padding. Who is sanitizing and fighting that corruption? But you cannot say anything because the government does not even feel beholden to the people. And that is why no matter how much Nigerians continue to cry, it falls on deaf ear. Why? Because they know that the electoral system can still be manipulated to rig people back into power using also the Nigerian judiciary. So if I have the ears of any Nigerian politician right now, I will want them to know that power is transient. You cannot be in power forever. If you don't leave power, power will leave you. Nigerians are not demanding for too much. We only need a country to live. As a Nigerian youth demanding for a better country, I'm not a criminal. There are known criminals that are not being attended to. But once you voice out against the government, they come after you. So Nigerians must decide whether we want to live as slaves in this country or we want to live as freeborns. And that is why I'm telling you that this 30-day challenge must not end with just the 30-day rants. There must be maximum civil pressure on the authorities. Number one, we must reform our electoral process. That is the backbone of corrupt politicians. They know that they can meander their way into the public office without consequences and accountability. So if I'm talking to Nigerian politicians, I'm telling them, your time is up. You either do the right thing for this country, or a generation of young Nigerian leaders will wake up and will succeed where you people have failed woefully and continue to fail us. Because Nigerians are hungry, Nigerians are dying, the tension is palpable and the frustration, and the leaders are completely detached from the reality. It is unfortunate, but we as Nigerians must find the wisdom and the courage to fix these institutions, or else we continue to remain victims of these institutions.
Lead right. Let's not mislead the younger generation.
Mr. Liu, do you know the cost of a bag of rice in the market?
I have a younger friend here who says they are going to use this.
Dr. Liu, I'm asking you a question. Do you know the cost of a bag of rice in the market?
Do
you go to the market?
Law that you want changed now. I bet you.
I'm sure that as we are talking now, policemen are waiting for you outside the studio, so that when you finish, you will enter an SUV. Policemen and civil defense, people's fathers are waiting for you now as we are talking. So that when you finish from here, they will carry you home.
Mr. President,
you do not know the cost of energy. You don't know the cost of energy. You don't know the cost of rice.
He was one of
you are
the
speaking
finest
for your money.
as at the time. I mean, if you look at the challenges, you know, that they try to tie to him, the issue they try to tie to him about the funds and everything else, then it shows you how much figures.
You are telling me about Chatham House.
USD that he was exposed
the
to.
Chatham House, the Nigerian people. The Chatham House voted Tinubu.
He has his green passport.
The Chatham House voted Tinubu.
At a young age, he did everything.
Nigeria voted Tinubu. Our lives have become worse, and you are there talking because they are paying you salary.
Country, he's running.
Be very careful.
We have consistency in Lagos. He is the president today. That alone shows you a success story.
Okay, thank you.
That's the hallmark of a change maker.
Thank you, Mr. Aliyu. Thank you, Mr. Aliyu. I think you were trying to get some words in.
Yeah, I'm trying to ask him a question. He's talking about reputable organizations that are giving credit and rating Tinubu positively. And the question I am asking simply is whether Chatham House or whatever international organization Dr. Ali is talking about is rating Tinubu positively. Did Chatham House vote for Tinubu?
Okay.
Was Chatham House in Nigeria to vote for Tinubu? He's speaking for his money. As he's talking, policemen are waiting for him outside to carry him home.
But I'm interested in saying something about Mr. Aliyu. Because when he was talking, he made a veiled reference to my comment, so I want to respond to him. If you have been watching this program, if you have not been watching, maybe you watch the replay, you will notice that when Dr. Ali was talking, if you see his demeanor, if you look at his face, you will see that he suddenly became angry when you were pushing him to give you the answer to your question. He started by massaging the young lady in the studio. My younger sister, I want to appeal to her. And the next thing, he was telling you not to push him. He wanted to have the floor, and he became angry, literally on his face. That is the attitude of this government. I even think there's an insult to call a young, a 20-year-old person a small girl. I don't find it funny, because in this country, we have seen people at 23 who became ministers and all of that. In my state, we still have, my governor was 46 and all of that. Now, that is the attitude of this government, as reflected by Dr. Aliyu. In that brief 2-3 minutes, that is the attitude of this government. He was wondering that activists, people say they are activists. You are angry with the military. You are angry with people from 1999 till now. The truth is that have the ideals of June 12 been fulfilled? Have the ideals of the democracy, which we carry placard for, have they been fulfilled? The answer is no. But these people, the moment they give them power, imagine that a Dr. Aliyu has power, and I have the capacity to ask him questions. In 2 minutes, look at the annoyance. If he had a litany of policemen and soldiers, he will move them against me. That is exactly what Nigeria has been doing under this government. Have you also noticed that almost every prominent saboteur, economic saboteur, and murderers, mass murderers in Nigeria, from the north to the, maybe the southeast is still the only region that is isolated now, to the south, where I come from, they have all been compensated with either federal government contracts, Tantita in particular. Some of them have been made traditional rulers. They have been given thrones. These are tenures that will never end until dead. Government officials are patronizing mass murderers and economic saboteurs and turning them to strongholds in this country. And those of us who are asking for change, just make one line, they come and arrest you. I was arrested and charged for treason for saying that my former governor mismanaged 500 million naira meant for a microfinance bank that is still not working till today. Instead of the security agencies to go after the person that mismanaged our money, they came after me. And I was charged for treasonable felony, attempts to overthrow Buhari and Governor Yadi. I don't know how this country is working, but the people that are destroying this country, carrying arms, once you have the, I call it the AK-47 economy. They are moving on with it. Once you have the capacity to kill in mass, after 1 or 2 years, they'll call you, negotiate with you. Either give you a traditional throne, or give you a contract to go and secure some federal government assets, or make you so prominent, fund you with so much money. As a matter of fact, there's a bandit leader in Zamfara State that was declared wanted. The day he came outside to collect an award, he was surrounded by policemen, and the local government chairman was seated there in the occasion, a man that had been declared wanted by the Nigerian army and by the Nigerian police. That is how this country is functioning. And they come to talk about this, our movement. Dr. Ali said something there that there's no country that has all its problems solved, and I agree with him absolutely. But what I'm saying is that our target we may not be able to eventually stop corruption. But if you can put a stumbling block on the part of those who want to steal our money, it's some form of progress.
we may not, I don't think there's any country anywhere that has been able to stop corruption completely. But what we can do is continue to mobilize ourselves to put stumbling blocks on the part of those who want to steal. Let them know that if you steal, there will be some form of consequences. You may not go to jail in Nigeria because if you steal enough, it's only poor people that go to jail in Nigeria. I've been to jail, it's only poor people that are there. There's no rich man in prison because they are not ready to send themselves to jail. But our target may not just be to build a paradise here, but to be able to put stumbling blocks on the parts of those who want to destroy Nigeria. But government is not helping it. Our government is patronizing violence. Our government is patronizing crime. Our government is funding those who are destroying this country, and they are running after young people and innocent people who are calling for change in this country. And it is very, very disheartening.
This was a very compositive conversation that we had this morning. Can you respond quickly to that? Quickly, yes. How do we move from here?
Let me just say that we will move from here by changing this narrative and building a system that can hold people accountable. And I take exception to the words of Doctor describing someone and something that I said as, being ignorant. You see, this grandstanding and high-handedness by the ruling party will take them nowhere. And that is why Nigeria is failing and is becoming a failed state under their watch. Because the only institutions or systems that are working in Nigeria is corruption and criminality. And also the statement that there are traits on this platform to corner people to asking questions. Arise News is one of the leading journalism houses that is trying to hold leaders accountable. Any attempt to ridicule, the capacity that they bring must be checked immediately, because this current administration does not like free speech. And before you know, they can bring the NBC against you. But let me just say this as a final parting statement.
Yes, 1 second.
Nigerians must make sure that we build a system that can hold our leaders accountable, which will begin with the electoral system, because that is their only arrogance.
Thank you so much.
They know that the INEC is the weapon faction.
Thank you so much. We've run out.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, we've run out. Change is never born from silence, and history has proven that when people rise and demand better, nations are forced to listen. The days of quiet sufferings are over. Nigerians are awake, their voices are loud, and their frustrations can no longer be ignored. Thank you so much for being with me here on Perspective. And I keep saying, life is a learning club. See you next week. God bless.